Good morning, Warriors! Back with another episode of Vigor Warriors 2 and the 1% Club. Hope you guys are doing well. I am sitting waiting for some people to come out, so I'm going to sit and kind of do one this morning. Hope you guys are doing well. Thank you for all the support comments. I'm going to see if I can try to move this down a little bit so you guys can see me better. And hope you guys are doing great. So first of all, thank you for all the comments, the likes, the subscriptions. I appreciate that. They're coming like crazy now. We're getting close to 1,000, so I really appreciate all of that. And thank you for all the comments. We've had some that were not nice comments in some ways, some that were just kind of in the middle. But I appreciate all the comments. This is a very interesting type of topic, and I understand that. I think it could be a little controversial in some ways, and so I understand that as well. So I understand that not everybody is, kind of giving comments that are positive, and that's okay, because I understand that. I understand the situation. I've been through this for many, many years with this whole topic, and I think it's something to, kind of look at. But I appreciate all the great support, and I appreciate the feedback. I mean, in my mind, and I've done this a lot with people and feedback from students and different things over the years. I'm appreciative that somebody is responding, because it means if they took enough effort to respond, it must mean something to them. So I appreciate that a great deal, and even if it's negative, like we've had before, and it's okay. It's fine, because I'm not. I want the feedback. I mean, I don't know everything. Of course, I started this just kind of talking about how we can try to get some information out and discuss this. So this is really, even though I'm talking, it's really more of a discussion between you and all the viewers, for me and all the viewers, and you and I, and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, I'm happy to embrace any kind of questions and ideas. And we've talked about whether this semen retention is a myth, and I think Mark had a nice comment as well about it. So we're going to talk about whether it's a myth or a coincidence. And so we'll kind of talk more about it. But I do want to actually kind of focus on this topic a little bit today and look at the idea of retention and how does it work and how does it attract women. Giovanni asked that question, and so I want to kind of go back and focus on that for this episode. And when we look at semen retention, once again, we have to kind of go back to the basics. And this is almost like Introduction to Retention 101. So we'll kind of talk about, how does retention really attract women? So we have to make a little bit of some assumptions here. And maybe some of those assumptions are right, maybe they're not. I think Mona Lisa brought up some good points, and other people have talked about this as well, as Mark did, is that, is this a placebo? Is this really an effect? Is this something that we can really use and do something about, or is it just kind of haphazard thing that happens? Well, let's take a look at this for a second. When we look at this, let's examine the situation. So when we look at the idea here that you are made up of something, so we always have thought that we're made up of, bones and, blood and heart and all those things. And from a body standpoint, we are. But if you go through it further, and I have I have background and have taught physics to high schoolers for years now. And so one of the things that I have found out coming through the area of science is the fact that we are energy. Things are made of molecules and energy, protons, neutrons, electrons, things like that. And I don't want to actually kind of bore you guys with all the scientific type stuff, but the idea is that we are made of energy. We have energy moving. All things are made of energy. So when God created the world, he created things that have energy and can move around and different things like that. Now, I refer to them, as far as the human body goes, as having chakras and energy forces. And through a lot of the history, and I talked about the Fountain of Youth book that I had discovered back in 1998, 99, and talked about the monks in Tibet, Tibetan monks and focusing on that energy, those chakras in the energy body. And there's several of them, 7 I think it is, and one of those is in the reproductive area. And so the exercise I've done for years is focused on those chakras. And if you look at different types of photographs, you'll see that energy moves in circles. That's when we talk about the protons and electrons and all that kind of stuff too. So the idea is that you're really kind of using several parts of your body as energy forces through your system. And so as you're younger, those forces swirl around and at a fast pace. As you get older, they tend to slow down. And unless you're doing something to keep those going, then you're going to see a lot more aging. And especially that's the case within the reproductive area. And so a lot of us, in humans, we don't really look at, this and understand this as well. This is more of an Eastern philosophy than a Western philosophy, though it's becoming a lot more popular. But this is why we're the elite 1%, because we realize what's really happening here. And we've seen this through our life and experiences. But for the normal person who knows nothing about this, and I had this comment yesterday, this is a weird thing. This is not something that's normal, because we don't hear about this in being normal. But guys, what is really normal? Normal is something that people push over a period of time that people accept. And in the long run, we've accepted a lot of things in our society that I've come to believe over the years is incorrect. And here's one of these right now, that the idea is that we do have these chakras and energy forces in our body, and these things tend to kind of become magnets. And so we get to the idea of Giovanni's question about how does semen retention really go ahead and attract women? Well, let's kind of look at this as a magnet type of thing. You're really focusing on all these things that your energy forces. Now, when you look at pictures and when you release, energy, unnecessarily, in my opinion, unless you're going to have a child and procreate, you're basically going ahead and just releasing, and so you're doing this, watching pictures, whatever you might be doing, then you're losing your energy. You're losing parts of your energy, right? That's why you end up falling asleep. That's why when you get really tired, especially people who do a lot of times during the week, they get tired and they have no energy. So if you keep your energy, those energy forces just become stronger and stronger, and your frequency vibration gets higher. Optical Man had that good comment, and we'll focus on a different one on that one, because that's a whole different topic to talk about. But yes, as you become stronger and retain longer, you end up getting, in my opinion at least, this is all my opinion, you're getting to the point where you are becoming stronger and higher frequency, and as a result of that, you end up then becoming a greater magnet, stronger magnet. And so you're going to be, getting higher frequency, people around you, and including women. So when we talk about this, it's really a magnet type of thing. And so really we're talking more scientifically here than we are kind of just basic, common knowledge, intense knowledge. But as we talk about these chakras, we talk about this energy, in my opinion, you're attracting people. And this is why we talk about this becomes an attraction. Now, you're not only attracting women, but men will respectfully look at you. Now, there's going to be some men, and I've seen this before, who are not happy with you. They just reject this, but they have their own issues going on. And so a lot of times when you get this response from men or women, and it's not going to attract all women, it's not going to attract all, men respectfully to you at all. It's going to basically attract people to you for opportunities, but there's going to be people who are going to reject it flat out and even hate it or be jealous of it. But it's an aura they see. So people see this, and we've captured this actually in research as well. When they take pictures of people and the energy feels around people, they'll notice that. They'll notice that there's an aura around the person. Now, you and I might be able to see this. I mean, we can look in the mirror and kind of see maybe our eyes glow or something like that. We can see some of that, but we don't see that. Other people pick it up. And I believe that when we talk about this whole idea of attraction, women pick it up a lot better than men do, especially because one of their purposes is to have children and to mate. And so what they're looking for is the best possible mate, and they have to be very choosy. Men don't necessarily have to be choosy in a lot of cases, and they're not going to be as choosy when it comes to females. But if females, because if they're wanting to have children, and obviously having someone who is, a protector, who is strong, those type of things, you can see why it makes sense. A lot of women are very choosy. Now, nowadays, that's changed a little bit in modern day, and I think that's a problem because it kind of messes a lot of women up, this whole idea of sleeping with all kinds of people, because it just messes this whole dynamic up, idea of what they're looking for. But the idea still is there, and I think as time goes on, you'll see both men and women go back to this more. And this is why this 1% is becoming more popular, because men are realizing that the MGTOW movement's a good example of that. They're realizing that they don't necessarily need to put up with a lot of this stuff anymore, and all this sleeping around and everything is not getting them anywhere in the long run. And by the time that men and women hit 30, especially in the case of the women, they're now all of a sudden thinking about family and think kids and things like that. And then the ship's kind of passed a lot of them by that way, because they're not as in demand and they're not as attractive as they once were. And so a lot of men who are in their 30s, they tend to kind of look for women that are younger. And that's a normal thing too. A lot of men will look for women who are younger because they're in this way, more fertile type of thing. So when you look at this, from a biological standpoint, it makes perfect sense, and the attraction is there. Now, I didn't know this for many, many years, and I didn't really think about the energy level and things like that, and so it didn't really help me all that much. I just thought it was more my looks and what I was doing and things like that. But women sense your energy, and they will sense this. And so if you're younger, this is the time to kind of get yourself in gear, kind of focus on your goals, accomplish your goals, work yourself out, work out, do those type of things that are going to make you better and feel better. And that's going to then radiate more attraction from other people. If you're just sitting at home and playing video games and you're not, you're not working out, you're not attracting ideas and opportunities and things, you're going to struggle. And especially if you're not eating the right foods, if you're not doing those type of things we talk about. And we'll talk more about this on other types of broadcasts, because we have a lot of other things that can add to this. I mean, semen retention is basically a foundation for those who are joining us kind of for the first time. It's a basis. It's self-control. Really what it comes down to is self-control. We talk about as retention because it's an easy buzzword that people use, but really what we're talking about is a person having a level of self-control and focusing not on women. In this case, we're talking about men, not on women, but they're focusing on their goals. Now, because of that, they'll attract a lot of women. But as I talked about in my last video, you shouldn't be paying attention to women when you're on semen retention. Those type of things should not be occurring, because what you're doing is focusing maybe on one woman, which is what I always recommend, and then those other things are flattering. They're flatters, and it's nice compliments. It's kind of nice, especially from a person like me who had low self-esteem and low confidence when I was younger and shy, to be able to have that kind of thing even at 61. You guys at 20, 25, 30, I admire you guys. You guys are young guys, and you got a lot going on, and the attraction level is sky high. So it's even more tempting for you guys, because I remember how that was, and I wasn't even practicing it. So that's something to kind of focus on. So guys, I think it's important to recognize that retention, in my mind, does work. So back to Giovanni type of thing, a good question from him. We're focusing on why does this work? Well, we're talking about the energy level, and people will be attracted to vibration. And if they see this glow, women will stare at you, women will chuckle, they will laugh, they will giggle. I had 3 of these giggles yesterday, and I had people staring at me. It's just a normal thing women do, because they recognize it. It's almost like they sense it, and you'll get women that will shake and they'll respond, because they're basically overloaded with the energy that they're feeling. Now, they will not admit this. They probably don't even realize what is really happening. A lot of people don't know about energy, won't know this. but they'll react to it. They'll realize there's an attraction, and they'll call it attraction. They'll call it a chemistry. They'll call it whatever that people use to talk about it. But it becomes an attraction. And you sense the same thing yourself with women. If you sense a high level of energy in a woman. So when women use this, and we'll talk about benefits for women. Now, I don't have as much obvious expertise with that. I can tell you what I've heard and talked with other young ladies. But the thing is that there's benefits for men and women on this. We talk about men because this is a huge problem with the male community, especially now with everything, with the media the way it is, and all these temptations to get you to be, in my mind, less masculine. So, all right, my friends, enough for today. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Keep up the great work, and please continue to write and focus on your comments and ideas. Like I said, every day is a new day to a wise warrior. And even though this topic to some may be weird, may not be something that people want to talk about, I think it is important especially for the men, to kind of focus on that this is something we need to overcome. We need to have strong, controlling men, and have that beast-like mentality that you're going to go out there and be a beast. Now, you can be controlled with that beast, obviously, but that's something that, as Jordan Peterson says, you are going to be disagreeable. You're not going to be agreeable in everything you do. So, all right, my friends, God bless you guys. Have a great day, and battle on!